If you are someone who's trying to build your dream life or your dream business, I want you to think about the 5 people closest to you. Your parents, your partner, your siblings, your friends, your coworkers. Now ask yourself this question honestly. Have any of them built the life that you are trying to build? Because here's something nobody told me growing up. And it took me years of wasting time and almost my entire sense of self to finally understand it. The advice that you take is the life that you get. And if you are taking direction from people who have never been where you're trying to go, you are not getting guidance. You are getting their fear on top of your own fears. You are getting their limitations on top of your own limitations. You are getting their ceiling of their imagination handed to you as wisdom. And you deserve better than that. Welcome back to the Blueprint. This is rule number 3. Alex Hormozi's 3rd rule for staying poor is take advice from poor people on how to be rich. Now, when he says poor, he doesn't just mean financially. He means anyone giving you advice from a place smaller than where you're trying to go. The broke friend telling you your business idea won't work. The unhappy parent telling you to play it safe. The colleague warning you not to rock the boat. They're not bad people. They might even love you, but love does not make the advice correct. And I'm going to expand on this the way we always do on this channel, because this rule isn't just about money. It's about every area of your life, whether it's financially, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. I spent the first couple chapters of my life drowning in the wrong voices, and let me tell you what that actually looked like. I grew up in a bubble. The first 15 years of my life, my father was in the military. We lived on a military post. The government housed us, fed us, and structured our world. It was all that I knew. And the options I was presented with for my future reflected exactly that world. My mother was a teacher. My father suggested I get a government job. Safe, stable, predictable. Nobody in my immediate world was building businesses. Nobody was talking about wealth, about autonomy, about designing a life on your own terms. That wasn't the conversation. The conversation was health insurance and a steady paycheck. And I don't blame them. They were just giving the best advice that they knew. But what they knew was not what I needed. I remember sitting in a meeting at my corporate job and at the Fortune 500 company that my immigrant parents were so proud of. And the manager was going back and forth with me about something. And he looked me dead in my eyes and he said, "Perception is reality." And I looked right back at him and said, "Whose reality?" He just stared at me. He couldn't answer because he had been repeating the phrase his whole career without ever actually thinking about what it meant. I understood instinctively that it wasn't true. People are thinking all kinds of different things about me, and I can't control any of their narratives. Perception is not reality. It's just someone else's story about you. But that's what happens when you're surrounded by people who never question anything. They hand you their unexamined beliefs like they're facts. Then came the people closest to me. Both my ex-husbands had poor mindsets. And I will admit, I made the same mistake twice. I thought they thought like me. I saw ambition in them that wasn't really there. Instead of taking that for face value, I kept trying to build with people who were in quiet competition with me, instead of standing beside me. My first husband told me early in our marriage that his money is his money and my money is mine. At the time, I had just graduated from college with no income. So when I got that job, I saved $20,000 of my own money. And when I was ready to invest that money into the wedding dress business that I was starting, he told me I should put it into the house instead. The house, by the way, that I put the down payment on because he didn't have the money to do it. To me, the house was supposed to be an asset. To him, it was just a place to live, which makes it a liability. I also bought a house with my most recent ex, and he thought it was a vacation home for him and his buddies, when my intent was to put the money I earned from my business in a place that can give me more return than if I had saved that money in the bank. That is the difference between a wealth mindset and a poor mindset. And I was watching it play out in my own home. When my first marriage was falling apart and I was fighting to build my business, my mother was telling me to get a job. My husband at the time was telling me to get a job for my half of the rent. I was completely surrounded by people who thought the answer to every problem was a paycheck from somebody else. I had been trained since childhood to be obedient. It was literally beat into me. So even though my gut was screaming that they were wrong, I had been conditioned to believe that the people who were supposed to have my best interest at heart knew better than I did. I thought they could see me better than I could see myself. Learning to ignore my intuition is the most expensive mistake I have ever made. The shift came in pieces. I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk first, and then Pat Flynn, and then later on, billionaire Grant Cardone. Voices of people who had actually built something, speaking directly into my ears through a phone screen, while everyone who was supposed to guide me had built nothing at all. But the real turning point, the moment that changed everything, came when I entered into a startup competition with a travel app idea, and I walked out with a mentor who changed my life. The organization is called SCORE. It's free. They connect entrepreneurs with retired executives and business owners who volunteer their time to help people like me. And through that competition, I met Nick. Nick had built a business and sold it for an undisclosed amount of dollars that he personally told me, but I will not tell you guys. He sat across from me, looked at what I was building. I was already cleaning Airbnbs on the side to make money while I was trying to pitch for this travel app. And he said, if you would have entered with this Airbnb cleaning business idea, you probably would have won. I was in shock. And then he said something I will never forget. He said, I'm going to help you win in real life. That was awesome. I still get emotional about it because up until then, I didn't have anybody who believed in me. And I can't even say that I even believed in myself. I really didn't have any proof in my own concept. But Nick was not soft with me. He did not coddle me. He did not tell me everything, that it was going to be fine. He told me I was kicking the bucket down the road because every task he gave me, it took me forever to do. And not only that, he also told me that he's going to stop working with me if I don't do what he tells me to do. So he was not nice and sweet. He told me that my prices were too low. He told me my original business name was pigeonholing me because I had the word cleaners in it. And when people heard that word cleaners, he said they would assume that I was just a cleaner. But we were so much more than that. Actually, we are so much more than that. We are property management, turnover coordination, hospitality operations. The name was shrinking the entire business before a single client even walked through the door. And he was absolutely right. He pushed me to create something that reflected the full scope of what I was actually doing. And that's where I came up with the name Hostkeeper, the name that people still respond to with genuine delight now 10 years later. And I listened to every word he said, not because I was being obedient the way that I was raised to be, but because Nick had done something I wanted to do. He had built something real. He had sold a business. He was living in a place I wanted to reach. And nobody else in my life was. The rule became simple. I will only take advice from people who are doing better than me. They must be doing better than me financially. They must be doing better than me emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. Otherwise, you can't talk to me. That's the rule. Now let me bring this to your life because this goes so much further than business. In your finances, look at who you're taking advice from. Are they wealthy? Are they debt-free? Do they have investments, assets, streams of income, multiple streams of income? Or are they just telling you what sounds responsible based on what their parents told them? Broke people give broke advice even when they have good intentions. Find the Nick in your life. Find the person who has actually built what you want to build and get in their proximity? In your health, are you taking health advice from people who are physically healthy, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy? Or are you following habits of the people around you because that's what they've always known? The people in your household growing up shaped your relationships with food, movement, rest, even sanity. Some of those habits serve you, some of them are costing you years of your life. Question it all. In your relationships, and this one is the most dangerous, are you taking relationship advice from people in happy, thriving, equal partnerships? Some of these people are not even in relationships trying to give you relationship advice. Some of these people's partners are on antidepressants, numbing themselves. And you definitely can't rely on that relationship being healthy. It's chemical based. It's not even real. And if that's your example, be very, very careful whose voice you listen to and let into your intimate decisions. In your identity and your purpose, the people who told you what was possible for someone like you, did they ever do the impossible? Did they ever break out? Did they ever build something from nothing? Because if they didn't, their ceiling is not your ceiling. They are just describing the limit of their own imagination, not the limit of your potential. Here is a philosophical truth at the core of this rule. Every person giving you advice is giving it from inside of their own story, their own fears, their own experiences, their own definition of possible. When someone tells you that you can't do something, they are almost describing themselves, not you. The question is not whether they love you. The question is whether the story is one that you want to live. One thing, here it is. Identify the one area in your life that you want to achieve, where you have been taking advice from someone who has not built what you want to build. Just one. Your finances, your health, your relationship, your career, your business. Write down the one person, alive, dead, accessible, or only reachable through their books and content, who has actually built what you want in that area. Start listening to that voice instead. Replace the input deliberately. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be intentional. And if you don't have a mentor in your life right now, go to score.org. It is completely free. It changed my life and it can change yours too. You don't have to figure this out alone. You just have to find the right people to figure it out with. I spent the first chapters of my life listening to people who couldn't lead me. And it cost me. It cost me time that I will never get back. It cost me years of ignoring my intuition that was right the whole time. But here's what I know now that I didn't know then. The people who told me to play it safe were not necessarily wrong for themselves. They were just wrong for me. And the moment I found even one person, one mentor, one voice, one example who had actually done the thing that I was trying to do, everything changed. 1 year of the right mentor grew my business from $30,000 to $500,000. 1 year, one right voice, $500,000. The wrong voices had been around me my whole life and they nearly buried me. I had to have the courage to live my life. So I'm asking you directly, whose voice is running your life right now? And is that the voice that is going to take you to where you're trying to go? Choose your input like your life depends on it, because it does. This is the blueprint to living your best life. 28 rules, one life at a time. If you found this content helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Who was the one voice that has changed your trajectory of your life the most? It could be a mentor, an author, a podcaster, a stranger. I want to know. I read every single one. I'm Mila. Let's wake up. Let's go.